Welcome to Little Hills Songs for a Temple. Thank you for joining us. And we're looking forward to going through this week with the next three Psalms. And that would be Psalms 85 through 87. So let's start with 85. 85 is Psalms that when I was reading through it this past week, it seems like the tone of the Psalms was pleading for mercy. Talking about us to revive us, O Lord, and revive our souls. And they were wondering what was going on. Remembering the hope that they had, the Israelites, back when they were enslaved in Egypt. And when God promised them and took them out of the promised land and into this gorgeous part of the area that God took them. But what was happening was all the enemies didn't like them. They didn't like their God. They didn't like what they stood for. So they were remembering all this hope for. Now they're having all this sorrow, wondering, God, what did you do to us? And as we look through like 4 through 7, where it says pleading God, a lot of times we do plead for God when we seem to go away. So Psalms 85, 4 through 7 says, restore us again, O Lord, of our salvation, and put away our indignation towards us. Put away your indignation towards us. Will you be angry with us forever? Will you prolong your anger to all generations? Will you not revive us again, that your people may rejoice in you? A lot of times we take bad things as something like we've done wrong. A lot of times that is God just trying to teach us, to make us stronger. And sometimes he uses the enemy to discipline us. It's kind of like a strange thought process, though, but it's true. You could see it in other prophets throughout the minor prophets. You have the same thing going on. Many of us, a lot of times, live between memory and hope. We're remembering what God has done in the past, and we have hope for that again. And that's a lot of times to remember. It's good to remember the good thing. Remember what God has done and keep that hope in us for the good times. For the bad times. Remembering what God has done for us gives us hope to press forward. Sometimes it may take us weeks, months, or even years to get through, to heal us from the emotional grief, but keep the memories of what God has for you. Keeps the hope in Him for your journey through the trials that you're going through. As talking about these trials, as Luther put it one time, God's holiness and God's love kiss at the cross. This is where his love for us so much that he died, sent his one and only son to die on the cross. His holiness and his love are one, just like we are one in Christ. And everything we do should point to Jesus. For look what he did for us on the cross. God's steadfast love and faithfulness meet together. His righteousness and peace embrace each other with all compassion. Those are some good words to think about. And as you read the Psalms, I'll encourage you to go on faithtree.com, grow.faithtree.com, and just and put down where the Lord is doing. Maybe you can encourage someone else that's struggling through some things. So now let's go into Psalms 86. Psalms 86 seems to be a Psalms that talks about that time we're all, like you're traveling your walk through Christ, and next thing you know is like you maybe go off your own way. Wow, God pops up again. It's like we pop in and out of our walk with Christ. And there's that part in there that we're what drew us away from God, what drew us away from Christ. So does it sometimes seem like God pops in and out of your life? All of a sudden you remember him. Oh no, all this bad's happened. I need you, God. Where you been? And then whenever that bad kind of the wrong or whatever it's the turmoil that you're going through fades away, we start thinking that we can handle it on our own. A lot of times going through this, we'll see this later on where we go at here in 86. It says 8 through 10. There is none like you among the gods, O Lord, nor are there any works like yours. In all nations you have made shall come and worship before you, O Lord, and shall glorify your name. And you are great and do wondrous things. You alone are God. Teach me your ways, O Lord, that I may walk in truth, unlike my heart to fear your name. I give thanks to you, O Lord, my God, in my whole heart, and I will glorify your name forever. This is submitting to God, saying, God, I slipped away. I'm sorry. Please forgive me my sins. May I come back. You know, you don't lose your salvation. A lot of times the world can pull us away. The world does not want you to be happy. They don't want you to follow God. They want you to follow their own thing. So even though we may feel that God is away during that time that we slipped away, he's always there. It's that steadfast love. He still loves us through the times that we're having. And we need to realize that and ask God, what are you teaching me through this? So every day we shall hold a surprise of his promise that Jesus gave you. Look for the surprise. And to fill the spaces in between. Don't have that gaps in your life where you wander on your own. God is always working to show his glory. You know, he shows his glory through the bad times and through the good times. And we see that as we read the Psalms. So would you join in and you'd be happy with the sorrow that you're going through, and know that Christ is still there with you? And that's the good promise. That's the hope that we should live for. You know. So as we go on to the next Psalms is Psalms 87. Psalms 87 talks about a place called a city of God, a place to meet God, a place to worship God, a high place for the world to see and know that God rules over the whole area, just like the mountains back there. It's a high place. You know, if I put a big old temple up there, or a big cross, big praying hands, a big maybe, you know, picture of a statue of Jesus, all the world can see. And I'm like, you know what, that person worships as God. And you will see if you read through the history of the Israelites, different kings put different gods up there for the world to see. And that's a kind of reflection that I think that we should look in our own hearts. Where is your city of God? Where do you worship God? You know, we have a place that we can go worship God. We have church, we have our home. So, where's your destination life heading for? Is it heading away from the city of God or towards the city of God? You know, are you heading toward your own place, the place that you can make up your own rules, make up your own, morals and standards? No, you need to follow God. You need to go to his city. Because you know why? You'll find that in 87 is he talks about different cities that have been destroyed. And that was right around verse 4 and 5. You know, in the city of Babylon, Rahab, Tyre, all these cities were crushed. All these, cities that didn't decide not to follow Christ. And they're gone. Even the big old Rome is gone. And you think of all these other countries and cities that were once big and lavish, they all fade away. But what always stands forever? And that's Christ. And Sergeant Charles Spurgeon once said, he oversees all and overlooks nothing. God does not forget you. He does not see when you walk away. He does see you sway away and decide to spend time with another God. Spend time doing stuff that takes you away from having a full relationship with him, or spending time or going to another city. It's like you deciding to go somewhere else while, you told someone else you want to follow. Hey, I want to follow you, but I'm going to go take this little detour for a bit. It's like, it reminds me, driving in the car, someone's supposed to follow you, but do they keep following you, or do they decide to drive off this other path and then eventually come and find you? No, usually that's what happened. So you always want to follow God. You always want to go to his city. And he talks about not wanting to, He wants to be the only God for you to worship. He doesn't want to be worshipped with other gods because he stands alone, high above the rest. That's why you put him up on the mountain. So where are you putting your God? Hopefully the God of the Bible, hopefully the God above all gods is the highest standard in your heart. And you put him placed up high above all things. And it's the thing that you cherish the most. Now that I found Christ and my faith is in him who shed his blood for my sins, I must go to him and dwell in his house and dwell in his city. All the times, every day of my life, we strive, and I encourage others to strive. It's difficult. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to look for the city of God, or are you going to look for your own city so you can enjoy your own self pleasures? So let me encourage you to go to the city of God and dwell in it because it lasts forever. And that's the 3 Psalms, one for Monday, one for Wednesday, and one for Friday. And if you want to do some comments or where God's touched your heart, maybe you could send a word to encourage other people that read on our our webpage is grow.faithtree.com. And there's some links there, and there's other pastors or teachers there that have other little articles there that are fun to read also. So our announcements at this coming Sunday, we have a special guest speaker, a very good friend of mine, and Pastor Tim's also. My friend Jason is going to be preaching before he leaves off to North Carolina or South Carolina. I always get the 2 Carolinas confused, but it's South Carolina. So that's pretty exciting. If you've seen him on a lot of the Faith Tree stuff and a lot of the Little Hills things, and for Songs for Our Temples, he's one of the teachers that share this time spot with us. And the 24th of July, we're having Hot Doggity Day. Pastor Tim's going to smoke some hot dogs, and we're going to have some dessert and a little fellowship after church, so you're more than welcome to come for that. And this Monday is our last day in Psalms as the Steadfast program goes on, and that could be your evening devotions as we go through Proverbs. So I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you Sunday or see your comments online. Thank you, and have a good day. God bless.